Brexit Britain will never be granted the same banking rights it had as a member, according to France's European Affairs Minister Clement Beaune. French Minister Clement Beaune insisted that it would now be impossible for Brexit Britain to benefit from passporting, the right for banks to provide certain services throughout the EU. While speaking to Bloomberg, Mr. Beaune insisted passporting was never afforded to nations outside of the bloc. He did note that the UK may be granted equivalence, but this would not be guaranteed and would be on an ad hoc basis. Asked whether future deals with the EU could give the UK banks additional rights, Mr. Beaune said, "No, passporting is over, that is where I mentioned the consequences of Brexit. It is one of the clear consequences of Brexit, so no passporting anymore. There is no way there can be passporting when you are out of the EU, that is not possible." Mr. Beaune noted that the EU could come to a unilateral decision to give the UK some access to the EU markets. He said, "What is possible after a unilateral decision from the EU, to be decided by us 27, is to give equivalence, possible access to our financial markets on an ad hoc basis. This will mean looking at the segment of the market you wish to give access to, the EU then decides itself and it will also have the power to revoke this authorization of access. It is a very different world we were living in before December 31st. It is very clear that passporting is over, there is no parallel negotiation in the financial services, the deal is done. There is a unilateral framework of equivalence in the hands of the EU and now we will be looking at the financial regulations of the UK market. This is to see if they are protected enough, regulated enough to give them ad hoc access or not to our markets." Regarding the UK being granted equivalence, Aquis CEO Alasdair Haynes added the UK should not expect to be granted equivalence any time soon. While speaking to Bloomberg last week, he noted that 18 months later, after a spat with the European Commission, Switzerland still has not been granted equivalence.